not strong enough to handle my own problems is that sometimes I submit and say, yeah, Allah, I can't handle. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In today's video, I'm going to be covering my Quran because this is in preparation of Ramadan because I want to carry it everywhere and read it everywhere. And obviously, in this state, I can't carry it everywhere because it's gonna tear apart. And I'll get into the details as to why it looks the way it looks before you guys try and judge me, because this Quran has been with me through my most difficult times and we've been through hardships together, okay? So no judgments here. Number one, I've gone through so many trials as a teen, and falling in love with the Quran and my deen helped me cultivate a strong grounding system. It made me recognize that home is not physical, and though the states of people may change, my Quran and Creator will always stay the same. States of, like my lecturer always says, people are gifts to you. They are bartered to you. They are not yours. They are being bartered to you because sooner or later they might leave in your life because they will only be for a season, a moment, and also the main reason why they're gifts, they might pass away, and you shouldn't lose yourself when that does happen, because you have the grounding of your deen. Because when you say someone is your whole life, people can't be your whole life, because your whole life is your creator. Your world revolves around your deen and your creator, and that's how it should be. But this doesn't also mean that you shouldn't be empathetic, and I'll get onto the point of empathy. The Quran recitation habit was instilled upon me when I was really young. So from a young age, I knew that I need pre-teen. I already knew that after every Fajr Salah, I need to read the Quran. But obviously at that point in time, I didn't understand why I was reading the Quran. So for a period of time, I didn't read the Quran. This is in my teens. I didn't read the Quran. And when I didn't read the Quran, I realized I was so anxious. I was anxious, indecisive. Felt like I was constantly spiraling, going through so many, spiraling and also raging a lot, being angry for no reason. And that's when it hit me, when I started getting back onto reading the Quran. It hit me like, I'm doing this for me, I'm doing this for my akhirah. The Quran also gives you a really strong sense of self. Along with empathy, you also gain a strong sense of self. Also recognize that you are in charge of your future. It's on your akhirah, no one else. And you make decisions more wisely. And it's not just about you being young and you make people think that because you're young, you're supposed to struggle that I struggle with it too. Come on. And it's more so like, okay, I'm not going to get into a haram relationship because I don't want to get that sense. Like, I want to get those Jannah points. And me getting that haram relationship is deducting points from my Jannah. I'm not going to sacrifice Jannah at that point. And Quran softens the heart. Constant recitation of the Quran. Even I remember reciting the Quran and also learning to memorize the Quran. I'm still memorizing the Quran, by the way. I need to get back on it fully, but I also realized that I became more empathetic. Like, I felt people's hurt more deeply on a personal level. Like, big matters like climate change, pollution, and so forth matter to me. And these things should matter to you as a Muslim in general. I know people make fun of the people who do care about the climate, do care about the state of the world, but as a Muslim, that you should be one of those people being made fun of, because that's literally the core center of our deen. Sadly. Not sadly, but fortunately. As you become more empathetic, you become more thinking more about the state of the world and how it affects you and how your presence can change that or slightly improve that. Your near surroundings, like littering. Like, a lot of people litter. A lot of us litter. And the small change that we can do is that when we walk, we can pick up something on the street or throw it in the bin, whatever we can. If it's too disgusting for you, obviously you leave it on the ground, but pick up where you can. And also, if you're with your friends, like I do, if I'm with my friends and they want to eat something and they want to throw it on the ground, I'm like, please pick that up. It's not your house. We don't do that around here. Simple changes like that. That Quran really softens your heart, and it also having a soft heart is also a struggle, because at the same time you are being aware of the akhirah. You are trying to live your life in a way that's pleasing to Allah and pleasing to the afterlife. And it also makes you feel like you're living like grandma, like an old person, because we associate being religious with old people, or just people who aren't old people and poor people in poverty. That's two associations we have with religion. So as a youth, it's a struggle, because how am I supposed to live my youth and be at the same time religious? How do those things go hand in hand? I think I'll make a video on this because this is really interesting. And how am I supposed to have fun and also think about my akhirah at the same time? Because in our deen, and what we've been fed, Western ideals of youth, we've been fed, do not fit what our deen entails of us. And this really is a conflict or problem that I struggle with as a person in my early 20s, as a woman, a girl in my early 20s. It's a real struggle. Like, how do I have fun? Like, what is fun? No one ever tells us in our deen what is fun for the youth to do. What's all fun things for you to do? They always tell you what you shouldn't do, but they never tell you what you can do. And that's a problem. Anyways, number 6, struggles of youth and teenagehood and early. All of that things I struggled with it. Like, I had heavy depression when I was a teenager in high school, especially in high school. I went to a non-Muslim high school. I did not wear hijab. I didn't do any of those things. And not wearing hijab wasn't a problem. It's just that I also had an identity crisis because it's like, I'm going to school. I don't wear hijab when I go to school. When I go to Christian places, I don't wear hijab. But then when I'm going to mosque, when I'm going to Mixala or an Islamic environment or madrasa, I wear hijab. But then when I'm going to school, I'm not wearing hijab. So it was like two conflicting identities. And when I felt wearing my hijab, I felt safe. I felt really nice because I know I'm doing this to please Allah. But then when I'm going to school, I'm not wearing hijab. I always felt so awkward. And sometimes I'd see people wearing hijab, but I wouldn't be wearing hijab. And I didn't have any thought in my mind that people wear hijab. And so, amongst other things that I was struggling with that I can't speak of, I stumbled upon Surah Al-Taha on my one day reading the Quran. Like, it just felt like it called out to me. I read the Quran back, the entire Quran, front and back each year. Like, this one year, it just stood out to me. And I was just like, how come I never noticed this surah? So I read the surah in full and I cried. No idea what it means. I just cried. No, maybe pick up some Arabic words and understand what it meant. And I just cried. And then I read it the second time with the English meaning next to it, and I was like, no, the meaning was somewhat of a translation. And I cried again because wow, this surah is so beautiful. And the main prophet in the surah is Nabi Musa alayhi salam, and his struggles, and we do know how many struggles he went through. And I felt like I could see myself in Nabi Musa alayhi salam because he went through so much trials and tribulations, and in all the trials and tribulations he went through, he still consulted with Allah. He still turned to Allah as his first turning point. Most probably the eyes that we know, like Rabbi Zidni Ilm, Rabbi Inni Lima Anzalta Ilayya Min Khairin Fakir, all those du'as are all in that surah. Like all the du'a when you are struggling to speak or before a meeting, or it's all in that du'a, anxiety, everything, it's all in that surah. And that is, I was so inspired by it because I'm like, he, each and every time things he went wrong, he's like, I'm gonna consult Allah. I'm gonna consult Allah. And from that, it also reciting the Quran built my confidence. How did it build my confidence? Because once I started getting these realizations from the Quran and also reading a lot of surahs along the way and reading them with their translations, I realized like, wow, these people had our Anbiyas and Sahabas and all these, we had real trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They really said, like, I'm going to go through this, but I'm not going to go first speak to my mom, first speak to my dad. No, I'm going to speak to my creator. Even though my creator sees what I'm going through, I'm going to speak to him and speak to him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this made me realize, this one day when I went to Maghrib Salah, when I was in high school still, and I was just like after consistently reading the surah almost every day, and you can see the state of my Quran was in it, I was like, why? I was like, wait, why do I feel as though I am beneath someone, that I am undeserving of taking up space? Like, fully say that no one is above you and you aren't above anyone and no one is beneath. And then number 2, I was like, why do I feel that I need certain things from people when Allah's the one who provides? If Allah's the one who provides, if these people don't give me what I need, or if, like they say, the world rejects me, Allah is the one who creates the world. The world spins because Allah decides for it to spin. That means I'm sure Allah can give me what I want and what I need, and that built like crystallized my confidence. People, when I tell these concepts, and also making dua and not getting it answered the way I want it to be answered is really a frustrating thing. It's so frustrating. It's like, yeah, Allah, I want this in order for me to have that. But Allah is telling me, look here, this is what you need. And this is how the process is gonna happen, and you're gonna reach a point that is way better than you've ever expected. And you know, the reading Surah Al-Taha, even though I never thought about hijab, the next day I started wearing hijab full on. Like it felt like it didn't even feel like I had to deeply think about it. I just started wearing hijab. Though it wasn't perfect, and though my hijab isn't still perfect to this day, I cannot walk outside without a hijab. I cannot walk outside with clothing that will not enable me to make salah in. That's a big one. and and the Quran is so beautiful. Like there's so many stories that you can learn from, and especially as curious people and readers. And this final, okay, on the note of dua is that Allah gives you a sound mind and a sound heart. What does that have to do with with speaking to Allah? It's like when Allah gives you a sound mind and sound heart, it's you being decisive and being able to make decisions that will help you. It's Allah entrusting you and saying, I have given you this challenge, or you will experience this challenge. I know you as my slave, and I know that you can overcome this challenge. That's why I'm giving it to you like this. That's how I view every challenge. And another learning about Nabi Musa alayhi salam is that his approach to worshiping Allah is that Allah lives outside the five daily prayers and Tahajjud Salah. Like, you know, people invest so much in Tahajjud Salah and five daily prayers. Okay, you should actually. What am I saying? But like, as if Allah only exists between those time zones, and Allah is not restricted by a time zone. I can consult Allah anytime, after hours, in hours, any hours, and Allah will be there. And Allah will be there, and that's absolutely amazing. Because what do you mean? Because when Nabi Musa used to ask, he was just sitting and be like on the tree, and he was like, Ya Allah, Rabbi inni lima. I And that's how I also approached to ask. So I started consulting Allah before I consult anyone else. And most of the times, when I start consulting Allah first, I don't need to consult anyone. And it feels like, and a lot of people would assume like I'm strong enough to handle my own problems. Not that I'm strong enough to handle my own problems, is that sometimes I submit and say, Ya Allah, I can't handle this. And I submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or most of the times it's just that when I speak to Allah, this is certain conviction that you get after speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes I'll be like, Ya Allah, today was so horrible. You know what happened? This, that, and the other. And I start venting my day, and then I'll get this peace in my heart or this clear mind when I wake up the next morning, and I now know how to approach things again. Shukran for watching till the end, and I hope you took away something valuable from this video. Bye. Ramadan Kareem. Ramadan.